Mr. Robot, a show I asked you guys about, and apparently you want to see it. I don't know much going in, except that the main character is a giant dork, but also a little bit like Batman, besides the muscles, the fighting skills, and being cool. If you're new here, the way this works is simple. I go episode by episode, reviewing each one, rage baiting when I need to, and wrapping things up with my final thoughts at the end. We go into this show with our main character, Elliot, telling us that he thinks he's being followed by basically the Court of Owls. Elliot tells us that he confronted a rich dude that has his own CP collection and shares it on a secure network. Well, not really secure anymore because our main character hacked it. Also, what's with rich people with CP? It's in real life and in almost every media. You're rich enough to get Megan Fox level women. Why? Well, you freaking weirdos. The guy gets very scared of being leaked by this awkward, kinda cool dork.
But there's always the threat of you fleeing after I call you out. I made sure to include the current time and location on my anonymous tip.
The cops show up and Elliot oroforms. Now we're back with our main character who's super paranoid. He's at his cybersecurity workplace, all safe, and we meet his very nice boss and Elliot's childhood friend, Angela. I don't even need to watch the rest of the series to know these two end up together. She's mad at Elliot because he ditched her on like hanging out since he was out being dork Batman, but you know, she doesn't know that. Elliot also hates working for his company. They protect big corporations, and that makes Elliot a bit upset.
Hi.
Yo, buddy. Missed you last night. Where were you?
Gotta go, big meeting today.
Oh, that's why you ditched her. Anyway, this guy is Oliver. He's basically a less charismatic Barry Allen. He kinda sucks. Elliot is with his therapist, who was already hacked by Elliot.
What is it about society that disappoints you so much?
Oh, I don't know. Is it that we collectively thought Steve Jobs was a great man, even when we knew he made billions off the backs of children?
Or maybe it's that it feels like all our heroes are counterfeit. The world itself's just one big hoax.
Society.
Alright, dude. You're not the Joker, okay? He said all of that in his head, by the way, and the therapist gets frustrated since Elliot doesn't talk about his feelings, so I don't even know why he's here. Now we meet a corporation, E-Corp, totally not an evil name. Anyway, they come to the firm because their company has been hacked over and over, so they decide to come to Allsafe because that's like their top customer. A dude from E-Corp, Tyrell, is one of the employees from E-Corp, and he used to be a coder himself. He talks to Elliot about, you know, what I just said, and he says he looks forward to working with them. And that means they're enemies. Someone is gonna die down the line, that's for sure. Elliot is at his small apartment with his pet fish.
I hate when I can't hold in my loneliness.
Hey, cry me a river. Elliot takes drugs, by the way. How can you be a vigilante and do drugs? Doesn't that contradict like what you do? Elliot tracks down his therapist and stalks her for a little bit. He thinks that her date is a bad dude.
Come on, will you go? Come on, go.
Hang him in the streets! Elliot is able to talk to the guy and borrow his phone so he can, you know, hack it. However, his crushy-wushy calls him and tells them that the company got hacked again and they need his help. They talk with a lot of tech lingo and stuff that's like over 10 years ago, so I have no idea what they're talking about, but it's not a good thing that's happening. Elliot and his boss get on a jet and head to the server room or something. I'm not gonna bore you guys with the details. They were able to get the servers back to normal. However, Elliot likes the hacker person and decides not to delete him or something like that.
Did you know that I'm gay?
A homeless guy with a Mr. Robot patch on his jacket talks to Elliot, and he's gonna take him somewhere to talk. This guy has been throughout the episode following Elliot. Anyway, he takes him to some sketchy place where hackers meet. He's also the hacker who hacked E-Corp. Elliot freaks out and thinks that he's insane and imagined everything. He checks online to see if the hacker group is real, and they are real, and he wants to talk to them. Elliot talks to the homeless guy dude. The guy wants to start another market crash, but like even bigger. Elliot goes back to hacking the douchebag from earlier, and he figures out that he's using a fake name and confronts him, telling him to break up with his therapist, because that guy has like multiple wives. He also takes his dog. And that dog is so cute. So Elliot is similar to Dexter in the sense that he stores the information onto like DVDs in a bag thing. We end the episode with the E-Corp CEO being arrested. Okay, so this was a little bit of a drag to get through. I understand it's a pilot episode, so it has to lay the foundation of what the rest of the show is going to be. However, it felt very, very boring at times. I started scrolling on my phone when I was getting bored. This does have a similar vibe to Dexter and You, so I can see why you guys wanted to see this. But for right now, it doesn't have that it factor for me yet. It's only the first episode, so we'll see. But the biggest complaint I have right now is the color grading and the hacker stuff. The colors are just very bland and not interesting to look at. It's 2014, so they wanted this to have a more serious adult vibe to it, so I understand that. Furthermore, it just feels like a 2010 show. So with the tech talk and the hacker hacking into the computer mainframe, it's the first episode, so I'll cut some slack, but maybe it'll surprise me. I don't know. We'll see. Remember that guy earlier, Tyrell? Well, he kind of kidnapped Elliot to ask him to work for him. Since Tyrell's like the new runner-up to be the new boss or whatever, he gives the whole villain speech and tries to persuade Elliot. It doesn't work. Elliot is fine where he is right now. Elliot goes home and tries to hack Tyrell. He panics because he thinks that Tyrell could tell that he was trying to hack him. That was overkill. You know how Elliot does meth or whatever? Well, he's snorting a lot of baking powder even before he walks into work. He also got a promotion, and then we find out the F Society hacker group thing we met earlier hacked E Corp, and they want them to get rid of their company and give money to charity or something. Elliot goes home to find one of the girls from the hacker group there, Darlene. She takes him to the new meeting thing. The leader, homeless guy, brings up the next stage of their plan, blowing up Comet, a natural gas plant. They want to do this because it's right next to the data storage place that is being used by E Corp. Mr. Robot, that's his name, wants Elliot to help him blow up the Comet. He says no because that would kill a lot of people.
Oh, you've been staring at a computer screen way too long, homie. Life's not that binary.
So corny. Elliot visits his friend's house. A douchebag who was her dealer or something is there. He kind of raped her and then also threatened Elliot. So it was a fun time for everyone. Elliot decides to do something about it, but that's going to be later on because Elliot talks to Mr. Robot about his father, who died of cancer. He worked at E Corp, so that's why Elliot hates him so much.
I was 8 years old.
This episode was better. I liked how Elliot is a very flawed character with mental problems and other issues that will be shown later on. That sounded a little psychotic, but you know what I mean. You know, like a character arc or whatever. It would be nice. What I don't like is the hacker group. They are so annoying and it feels so corny. It really feels like I'm watching like Watch Dogs 2 or something. And the dialogue just sounds so weird. It just sounds like it came out of like a 2010s show with technology or something, like a show like CSI where it's like the fingerprints. I gotta hack into the mainframe, like all that. It just feels corny to me. It just feels really dated as well. And I did like the interaction with Elliot and the drug dealer. That there was tension there, and I like that. And I'm excited to see how Elliot's gonna get back at him, since that's gonna be a thing. We open this episode with like a alpha male good morning routine featuring Tyrell.
Now is not the time to be encumbered by the company's tragic and shameful loss of our chief technology officer. We have to be swift.
Tyrell really wants to be the next CEO of E Corp, but the guy he was meeting said to reschedule. Afterwards, he decides to pay a homeless guy to allow him to beat him up.
Please, no more.
Elliot is in the hospital since he was pushed off the dock by the leader dude. His therapist and druggy friend are there to meet with him. Elliot tells his therapist about his drug use and blah 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 blah, telling her he will stop. Spoiler alert, he does not stop. When Elliot goes back to work to find Mr. Robot sitting at his desk, they decide to talk at a bar. Mr. Robot apologizes about pushing him off the dock. He also says that Elliot is on the keys to the plans they have. However, now all those plans are stopped since Elliot doesn't want to be a part of them. Elliot's boss is hosting a dinner party that has Angelina, her boyfriend, Elliot, and his friend that is now his girlfriend. The boss and Elliot have a talk outside. They bond and they even hug. That was crazy because Elliot is like a germaphobe. Angelina and Elliot also talk until Elliot checks the TV that tells them that E Corp was involved with causing cancer, the same thing that happened to Elliot's dad and Angelina's mom, because that's how they're friends. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you know off-brand Grant Gustin? Well, he's being blackmailed by this dude. He got malware on his laptop, and he wants him to install the same malware onto AllSafe's network. Also, yeah, he's cheating on Angela, by the way. This episode was better. A lot more is going on, but in like a good way. I'm not surprised Angelina's boyfriend is not a good boyfriend. You can tell by looking at him. Anyway, I find Tyrell an interesting character. The scenes were very short, so I didn't include them. But his wife is like Russian or Danish or something, and she's pregnant. However, he hooked up with a man at night. What's weird, it wasn't in a sexual way. It was for him to have a better chance of being the boss. So it was like he took a Griffin route. I also like that Elliot is slowly opening up to people, like just a little bit, but enough to where you can tell that he's gonna get like a little bit of a character arc. Only a little. Or it might like crash and burn. I don't know. We'll see. Elliot is now helping the hacker group again. He's also having withdrawals from all the drugs he's taking, and now he's not taking them. So he decides to do the drugs he's not supposed to. Elliot and the gang are trying to come up with a plan to hack into the data storage place without killing people. They decide to put a hacking device onto their thermostat to like melt the data servers. However, when they decide to do the plan, Elliot gets really bad withdrawal symptoms again and is gonna be out of commission for a bit.
Screw coffee or breakfast in bed. The first thing I could see every day is a sweet butt of yours. I'll be the happiest dude in the city.
Angelina decides to visit Elliot's girlfriend to find where she is. They both go on a walk, and Elliot's girlfriend gives Angelina drugs so she could like chill out. Elliot convinces the leader guy to let him do one more hit of baking powder, so they decide to meet a pharmacist to get the cooking appliance. The House of Doctors don't actually have baking powder, but they have buttermilk. What the hell am I saying? They have heroin, and Elliot decides to take that instead. What the hell is happening right now? Elliot has these weird visions, like seeing a little girl humming some song, a talking fish, and even being on a date with Angela. And then Elliot wakes up in the cabin they're staying at. So, you know, all of that was a dream. Angelina and Elliot's girlfriend are also doing illegal substances. Also that. Oh yeah, for more information, the guy who hacked Angelina's boyfriend is also semi-working with the hacker group. The group is known as Dark Army, and they hack anyone for money. Solid episode. I enjoyed this more than the others, since I understand the plot and the general direction the show is trying to take. I find it more compelling, like Elliot's drug addiction and exploring what comes with that, with withdrawals, hallucinations, and all the bad stuff. Angelina is probably my least favorite character. She does not grab me like how I would want her to. Pause. She's just kind of boring, which is probably on purpose to have her be more of this goody two-shoes office worker. And then she's going to turn into some rebel of some kind, so we'll see how she changes. So remember that douche drug dealer from earlier? Well, he kind of got arrested because Elliot turned him in and stuff. The douche figures it out and is now planning his ultimate revenge plan. Anyway, the hacker group figures out a way to get the fake IDs to get into the data place. Plan to send Elliot in since he's not freaking out anymore. And they send him in. He's super awkward, so I have no idea why they did that. He tries to give up midway through because socializing is too hard. However, they pulled a trick from Barney from How I Met Your Mother. One of the hackers made a fake wiki page of Elliot to make him seem like this genius billionaire who wants a tour of their building. In the middle of this, Angelina broke up with her boyfriend and also snitched about the hacking disk thingy. Back to Elliot. After going through the first floor, he goes to the second. So to do that, he bullies his tour guide to the point of letting him go to the second floor. But when he calls a supervisor, it turns out to be someone they did not plan for. To combat that, they hack the lady's phone and send a spooky text. Then the group guides Elliot to the second floor. But then he runs into Tyrell. This freaks everyone out. Elliot panics and goes to get lunch with him. Elliot uses this chance in the bathroom to put one of the devices he made on the thermostat. They get back to the home base, but there's a problem. The Dark Army, which is the hacker group from earlier, backed out from helping them. That's a giant issue because they're supposed to hack the backup data from China. Still, they won't give up and will find another way, I think. Elliot comes home to find his place messed up and his girlfriend's phone on the ground, only to hear the douchebag drug dealer dude. Okay, the show is getting better as I watch. I understand more of the hype behind it. The story is fleshing out. There's more drama, so I find that interesting. The show, I thought this drug dealer guy was gonna be a one and done type character, but I guess he's one of the big villains of this season. I also thought he was dumb as rocks, so him figuring out Elliot was the one who snitched on him was a surprise. To be fair, Ellie did that like right after meeting him, so I don't know what he expected. Also, Angelina's boyfriend has to die soon, right? Like, he got blackmailed and all that. If he doesn't comply, I assume he's gonna get shot or something. Anyway, we'll see where the next episode takes us. So Ellie's girlfriend is being held hostage by the douchebags gang. They make Elliot get on the phone with them.
Your power. I want it, Elliot. And I want it so bad it makes my dick hard. And I want it today.
The guy wants Elliot to figure out a way to break him out of prison. They head to Elliot's house. Two of the members, Isaac and DJ, are watching him to make sure they do what they say. Darlene is also there to help Elliot out. I don't know how she got even involved, but she's now in this mess. They go to the prison. Elliot is able to get into their network undetected. He also tells him he hacked into Isaac's phone, finding out his whole operation and locations. Elliot tells him to stay away from him and his girlfriend when he gets him out, or he'll spill everything. When Elliot comes back to the gang members, Isaac drives him alone to some remote location to kill him. However, Elliot figures out why. Isaac wants his douchebag leader to die in prison because Elliot failed his job of the operation and the leader is gonna kill him when he gets out. So they plan to still break the douche out, but Elliot will let Isaac do what he wants with him. That night, they break the douche out.
DJ, shoot the cocksucker.
Uh-oh. The guy gives Elliot the keys to find his girlfriend. She was actually in the trunk of the car the entire time and is not very alive anymore. Well, damn, that sucks for Elliot. I kind of forget Elliot's life sucks and has always been bad. He's addicted to drugs, his parents are dead, I think, and his girlfriend is also now dead. He's definitely going to be dating Angelina or Darlene soon. Those are like the only two options right now. I wonder how Elliot is going to defeat the douche guy. He's going to get revenge for killing his girlfriend. I think he's going to do some probably elaborate plan to take him down in some way, maybe even hiring someone to kill him. It's been 1 month since the death of the girl. Elliot is back in therapy, but is also about to stop going. She tells him that he needs it. However, he decides that therapy isn't for him, even though he definitely needs something related to therapy. Because all that trauma, he needs something. Elliot's boss tells him that he should also take off some time since everyone knows about his girlfriend's death. Angelina is meeting with the ex-CEO of E-Corp. She's been filing a lawsuit against them because her mother died a long time ago and blah blah blah. He thinks it's all about the money. However, Angelina wants to make a deal with him. If he testifies against the higher-ups that helped kill their mom by like dumping toxic waste or something, then she will help him with his case.
So I'm gonna pull down my pants. And then I'm gonna need you to take that pouty mouth of yours and swallow up my balls. They're big and hairy, especially the left ones. You're really gonna have to, I don't know, squish them up to get them inside there.
Yo, guys, let's hear him out. The guy does a complete 180 like 5 minutes later and agrees to talk with her. So Tyrell has been trying to get the CEO position hard, even taking the Griffith route, like I said before, to get a better chance. He went to dinner with this guy who's actually getting the position, and he tried to seduce his wife. Then he tried doing it on the roof, but he strangled her to death out of gamer rage. He also just left her on the roof, so he's getting caught, or he's gonna ask Elliot to hack into the police computer to make the DNA come out to be the person he killed's husband. Wait, did I just figure it out? I swear if that happens, I guessed it. Elliot goes back to therapy and reveals that he hacked her and just spills out all her personal information at her, showing that he hacks everyone, not just her. So it's fair. Great episode. I really liked Tyrell's side story. It was a nice change of pace instead of hearing all that hacking dork lingo every 5 minutes. But man, he is screwed. He does deserve to go to prison. I mean, he's not, but he should. Elliot revealing that information at the end there, that was really important because he doesn't do that. He doesn't trust people with the information, but he's deciding to do that at least a little bit. That's different from any of the shows I've seen. Usually they try to change, but end up going back to their old ways. Due to that, this is refreshing. I'm liking the show a little more now. Don't get me wrong, it still feels dated, but I understand what it's trying to do. Elliot meets with the hacker group. The hacking thing he put on the thermostat worked and are able to get in their system. Darlene also told Elliot about the Dark Army kinda being like after her, maybe him, and they want to meet with Elliot. So everything's fine and dandy. Tyrell is a bit uncomfortable after what he's done. He's basically just Patrick Bateman now, which actually makes kind of sense. The police are also at his building because the dead body was on top of his roof, that where he works. But he decides to brush them off and do that later. Angelina's ex-boyfriend is basically forcing Elliot to get those corrupted drives that happened due to the disk being put in one of their computer thingies. Elliot figures out that he was blackmailed by that one hat guy and that the corrupted drive is just an excuse for him to meet with the Dark Army. Elliot meets with the leader, White Rose.
But we were ready. That is the third time that you have expressed that.
She's trolling me.
He argues with her that they were ready to hack eCorp's data source, but they decided to randomly pull out. She says that they pulled out because one of their infected servers was turned into a honeypot by Elliot's boss. Then the meeting ends because she set up some time limit or whatever. Elliot now has 50 hours to fix their timing issue with their hack on eCorp because White Rose told them their timing was ass and could be detected. So she gave him 50 hours to fix it, or they will actually officially pull out. He's back at work and a video of the hacker group shows up on the computer to distract the boss and the employees so Elliot could hack into the boss's phone and shut down the honeypot. Tyrell met with the leader of the hacker group, which was a crazy surprise, and also Tyrell has dirt on the leader and all that. They're working together on something that will probably be explained this season or the next season. I'm not really sure. Tyrell is stressed and talks to his super hot wife about it. Why is she so bad? She's the one who's trying to make him be the CEO, so she doesn't really care how he feels. She's still hot though. Detectives come over to his house. However, Tyrell's wife fakes that her water broke so they would leave.
I love you so much. Oh my God, Elliot, what the fuck?
What? You just told him you love him. What do you think is gonna happen if you say that to a lonely ass dude? Elliot just says that he's sorry over and over. She starts freaking out. I'm confused.
I know. I know what she's going to say.
I'm your
Sister.
What? Did you just pull a Luke and Leia ass situation right now? I mean, that makes sense why she freaked out, but why was that revealed now? So Elliot goes on the subway freaking out, figuring out that he forgot he even had a sister, saying that he's crazy over and over again. We end the episode with Elliot finding out that his dad is the group leader and is not dead. What happened? So in the final 10 minutes, they just dump all this information. I understand it's for shock value and to set up for the next season and all that, but it just feels super cheap. Anyway, Elliot forgot who his dad and sister were the entire time. I understand his mental state is as solid as Jello, but what the heck, dude? I thought Elliot had drug and social issues, but him forgetting multiple family members is wild. I'm not surprised about the leader being his dad. That makes sense. I saw that coming like a mile away. But Darlene being his sister? What? That came out of nowhere. At least, I'm not gonna be bored the last few episodes. That's like the only plus side of this. So, we get revealed what Ellie's past was actually like. His dad, the group leader guy, ran some electronics store called Mr. Robot.
You're a nobody. You're a middle-aged man doing what my retarded nephew could do.
Also dealt with customers like that. We go back to Elliot talking to the leader guy, or his dad. I'm gonna stick with the leader name. Elliot is not taking the news very well because he believed his dad was dead all those years. The leader tries to say that the pills he takes from his therapist and stuff is controlling him and making him forget about his sister and him. He says it's because people are after him and what he's doing. They both decide to head to Ellie's childhood home. Tyrell was fired from the company, by the way. One of the higher up dudes went to him and said he's a person of interest in the case of killing that one lady, so they don't want him there. Tyrell begs and begs not to be fired, but it doesn't matter. Elliot and the leader are back in their hometown now.
I'm ready to let go.
They both go to a graveyard and the dad leader tells him that they're gonna take him away again. Angelina and Darlene show up.
Elliot, who are you talking to?
You mean I'm talking to...
What What the hell is going on? Elliot gets rightfully confused, and he seems to be the one who fell out of the window now. Angelina and Darlene are also super confused. They don't know who Elliot's talking to. Then he figures out that he is Mr. Robot, the leader. So everything that happened to him and his dad so far was in his head. So I'm guessing he formed the group to honor his dad, but he just doesn't know that yet. Also, I guess that means his dad really did die because of E-Corp, and it wasn't like a fake death. Angelina's dad is being visited by the business weird dude from earlier. He wants to talk to her about offering her a job at E-Corp. She gives a very hard no to that. You know, the company did kind of kill her mom and stuff, so working there is not the funnest idea. Elliot is back at home. He is out of it. He doesn't even know what's real or not, so he's just there. Tyrell shows up. Well, I think it's the real Tyrell, but we'll see. He confronts Elliot about him being with the hacker group and messing with the ex-CEO. Tyrell puts on his trusty latex gloves and gives a villain monologue about how he liked killing and how cringe and cool and dark he is. Then we end the episode with Tyrell being shown the hideout of the hacker group. Okay, another thing out of left field. What was the point in revealing that the leader was his dad just to say that he's dead and not even real? Pick one. I swear, if it's the next twist is that it's like all a dream, I'm deleting this video. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's keeping the show entertaining, but on the other hand, it feels cheap to have these type of twists back to back over and over again. However, the acting of the guy who plays Elliot is really good. He gives that socially awkward and junky vibe to him, and we'll just see what happens in the next episode and go from there, I guess. Remember that scumbag from like the first or second episode? Well, he shows up again. He and the therapist have a chat. He wanted to explain himself, saying that Elliot hacked him and he wants to get him arrested since he ruined his life or whatever, exposing him for being a cheater and using a fake identity to cheat on women and do that stuff. And he also just wants to work with the therapist to get enough evidence on him. She doesn't do that because, you know, she's the GOAT. Oh yeah, Angelina is working for E-Corp now.
Swallow up my balls.
Even though what happened last episode was a thing. But let's pause on that because Elliot is even more confused now. Their plan to hack into the E-Corp data source and wipe it all thing happened already. Elliot blacked out when he did it. So all of the things he's finding out are new to him. And he's been blacked out for like 3 days now. Also, Elliot can't find Tyrell and is now confused on what he did to him or where he is. So we take a trip to E-Corp where Elliot sees a live stream of the hacker group member with the mask, who I think is Tyrell, but we aren't told. He gives the whole speech about how people are free and can live on or whatever. Elliot finally visits Tyrell's house. He finds his wife and she's very suspicious of Elliot and lies to him. She's very hot and very intense, stating that she hasn't seen her husband in 3 days. So a dude from E-Corp is doing a live stream interview, then gets all depressed and shoots himself. So another surprise happened. This happened in front of Angelina, so she gets sent home to, you know, recover from that. Elliot's back to trying to find Tyrell. During this, he finds a video of him falling off the dock area from like episode 2, which shows that Elliot did hallucinate everything and that he isn't the most mentally stable person in the group. However, Elliot thinks he can access this hallucination of his dad by doing something specific, but I don't think it's gonna work.
911, what's your emergency?
I have a confession to make.
All right, you got me.
Huh. He tries to chokeslam the hallucination and it looks very strange from the outside. Everyone is looking at him because who wouldn't look at him? He looks insane. Elliot is in the middle of a riot protest thing now, with people all around him wearing the hacker group mask. The fake leader shows up, gives a long-winded speech about how much the world sucks, and blah 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 blah. Elliot closes himself off from people or something. I don't really know. He kind of just shut his eyes and people disappeared. Then Elliot decides to listen to the voices in his head and watches the world crumble on his computer. And then we end the season with a knock on the door, and we have no idea who it was. This episode was actually a very solid ending for the season. I like that it's setting up season 2. I have no idea what happened to Tyrell. If you guys want another video of this, then I'll do another one. Honestly, I'm just going to jump into the overall review right now because I have nothing else to say. This show honestly surprised me. I never heard anything about it, if I'm being honest. I thought it was just some serious show about a hacker, and that was it. I was kind of right, but missed a few things. For example, I thought this was going to be about Elliot finding people to hack and sending them to prison or jail or something. He did that like one time, but I thought that was going to be the whole premise, similar to Dexter or I don't know, like a vigilante Batman thing. However, the approach they did take wasn't my favorite. I'm not big into the whole conspiracy type shows where they have to rely on like shock value to engage the audience. They did that a lot, like people randomly dying or Ellie's dad not even being alive. To be fair, it did its job. I was more interested more after I found these out. The actors also did a pretty good job. Obviously, Elliot's actor was the best. The rest were also good, but nothing like stood out to me personally. Probably because none of them are Ryan Pattinson. He's so cool. Overall, the show was decent. I didn't relate to Elliot at all, though. That's why it probably wasn't the most enjoyable to me. With other shows, I can put myself into their shoes a little bit more, but Elliot is so out there that I just can't. However, I do like watching his mental state breakdowns, which sounds bad, but I mean, it gave depth to his character, and I liked watching that.